Welcome to this weekly show, the Teenage Mutant Fight Club podcast, where we journey into wild tales of teen heroes and underdog outcasts from the world of flash fiction in a fun, entertaining way like blockbuster action films.
Get ready for a thrilling journey into two unique stories today.
Rate and follow the show for more captivating stories.
First up, we're plunging into a flash fiction story titled Young Hood. Imagine a modern-day Robin Hood scenario.
But instead of medieval England, it's an ancestral forest threatened by a corporation.
And the heroes are a band of skilled young archers.
We have excerpts detailing their ingenious methods of confronting this threat.
You sent us this because you're interested in how traditional ideals can be adapted to modern challenges.
And you appreciate a good David versus Goliath story.
Then we'll journey into Green Thumb Society, another flash fiction story.
This tale draws inspiration from The Secret Garden,
Featuring a group of young environmentalists who discover the hidden wonders of a special garden.
and use its power to save endangered species and uncover the source of mysterious environmental threats.
You were drawn to this because you enjoy stories about the power of nature and the impact young people can have on the world.
Our mission today is to unpack the core conflicts
The resourceful tactics of these young protagonists.
and what these flash fiction stories tell us about legacy
Environmentalism.
and the power of seemingly small acts of defiance.
Let's get started.
All right, so let's jump straight into Young Hood.
Okay.
We're looking at a situation where a corporation is threatening an ancestral forest,
Right.
a place of deep historical and personal significance for a group of young people.
Yeah.
It's that classic battle between big business and local community, right?
Is it?
What makes this particular conflict compelling from the start?
I think what's fascinating here is how the flash fiction story immediately positions these young individuals. They're not just concerned citizens.
Right.
They're presented as heirs to a legacy of rebellion, explicitly linking them to the well-known Robin Hood mantle.
Yeah.
This isn't just a spontaneous reaction.
Right.
It suggests a deeply ingrained tradition of standing up for their home.
Right.
It makes you wonder about the weight of that kind of inherited responsibility.
That's a great point about the inherited aspect. And
Yeah.
the story gives us some really inventive examples of how they're resisting.
Yeah.
Take Rowan, for example.
Okay.
Instead of a conventional weapon, she uses a simple pebble,
Right.
but with such incredible precision that she can disable a surveyor's drone.
Wow.
What does that tell us about their approach?
Well, I think it immediately signals that their strength isn't in matching the corporation's resources, but in their ingenuity and intimate knowledge of their environment.
Yeah.
It subverts the typical action hero trope and suggests that intelligence and resourcefulness can be more potent weapons against a larger power,
Absolutely.
offering a more nuanced perspective on conflict resolution for young listeners.
It's about outsmarting rather than overpowering.
Exactly.
And then we have Maya, whose distractions, like that pine cone strategically placed in the company Jeep's exhaust pipe, are almost mischievous, yet clearly effective in causing delays and frustration.
Exactly. It highlights their understanding of disruption.
Yeah.
They're not trying to engage in direct combat, but rather to throw a wrench in the works, to slow down the corporation's advance through these clever, low-tech interventions. It's almost like guerrilla tactics adapted for a nonviolent context.
And Kieran brings a whole other dimension to their resistance with their tech skills.
Okay.
Hacking into the drone to feed it false survey readings and planting manipulated data, that's a very modern take on the Robin Hood narrative.
What's important to consider here is how they're leveraging the very tools the corporation uses against them.
Yeah.
It's a powerful illustration of adapting to the specific challenges of their time. They're not just relying on bows and arrows. They're fluent in the language of modern technology and using it to level the playing field.
And it becomes clear that their motivation runs incredibly deep. This isn't just about saving trees.
Right.
The flash fiction story emphasizes that this forest is integral to their history,
Right.
their identity. The land itself holds the stories of their ancestors' defiance.
That deep connection to place is such a powerful motivator.
Yeah.
It's not just about preserving the present landscape, but about honoring the past and safeguarding their cultural heritage for future generations.
Right.
The image of their arrows as inherited tools, not legendary artifacts, really grounds their actions in a sense of practical necessity and a quiet, unwavering pride.
We also see some really creative examples of nonviolent resistance.
Okay.
Maya's use of paintball arrows is a great example,
Yeah.
causing a nuisance and marking targets without inflicting serious harm.
Right.
And Kieran's tripwires are designed to disorient,
Right.
to slow down the surveyors.
Yeah.
Again, without direct confrontation.
This approach is often key in sustainable resistance movements. By focusing on disruption rather than violence, they can potentially gain broader public sympathy and maintain a moral high ground. They're cleverly using their knowledge of the forest to turn the corporation's intrusion into a logistical challenge.
In Kieran's idea of rigging a net to drop leaflets exposing the corporation's activities, detailing the destruction of ancient trees and the displacement of rare creatures, that's a really smart way to try and sway public opinion and put pressure on the company.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's about using information as a weapon, bringing the corporation's actions into the light, and appealing to a wider sense of justice.
Yeah.
And that you have Rowan's symbolic act of shooting the private property sign. It's a relatively small act, but it feels designed to ignite local defiance and tap into those existing stories of resistance within the community.
Right.
What do you think is the power of such symbolic actions?
It's almost like a visual declaration, isn't it? A
Right.
way of saying, we don't recognize your authority here. And Kieran even manages to strategically, or perhaps accidentally,
Yeah.
send incorrect coordinates to attract a news van,
Wow.
ensuring their story gets wider attention. That shows a real understanding of how the media works.
It demonstrates a sophisticated understanding of public relations and how to shape the narrative.
Yeah.
They're not just fighting on their home turf. They're also fighting for their story to be heard.
The flash fiction story makes it clear that this isn't the end of the conflict.
Right.
The corporation will undoubtedly be back.
Right.
But what's really encouraging is their proactive preparation for future confrontations. Maya is experimenting with cobbled-together night vision goggles.
Wow.
And Kieran is coding alert systems for the villagers.
Oh, that's clever.
They're learning and adapting.
This speaks volumes about their resilience and long-term commitment.
Yeah.
They understand that this isn't a single battle, but an ongoing struggle, and they're investing in building their capabilities and their network of support for the future.
And the way the Young Hood journey concludes really ties everything together. It emphasizes that their fight is about more than just preserving the land.
Right.
It's a generational promise, a stand against greed, a spirit as deeply rooted as the trees themselves.
Right.
They are the new generation of Robin Hood.
Oh.
And their fight, we're told, will endure.
Yeah.
It's a powerful statement about the lasting nature of resistance.
It truly is. It highlights how even seemingly small acts of defiance, when driven by a deep sense of purpose and connection to something larger than oneself, can have a profound impact and contribute to a lasting legacy.
Okay, let's shift our journey now to Green Thumb's society.
Okay.
This flash fiction story offers a really interesting contrast.
Yeah.
Drawing inspiration from The Secret Garden, but with a distinctly modern environmental focus.
Yes, the central idea is quite compelling. Instead of a single secret garden, we encounter a network of these special places, all used by a group of young environmentalists dedicated to protecting nature. It broadens the concept of that hidden sanctuary into a more active and interconnected force for environmental good.
The story begins with a very relatable problem.
Right.
A rare sapling is sick due to contaminated soil. It immediately grounds the more fantastical elements in a very real and pressing environmental issue.
Yeah.
And it's the children who are the first to recognize and respond to the crisis.
And it's through their unique connections to the natural world that they first understand the problem.
Right.
Leah has this incredible intuition, almost feeling the pulse of the earth,
Yeah.
which allows her to sense when something is wrong. Colin draws strength and healing energy directly from the garden,
Yeah.
giving him a tangible link to its health. And Maya's sharp observational skills enable her to identify the physical signs of environmental damage.
Right.
Each child brings a distinct and valuable talent to the group.
Right. They're like a little team with specialized environmental sexes.
Exactly.
And the secret garden in this context isn't just one secluded place.
But this interconnected web of patches of vibrant life,
Right.
What's particularly intriguing is how they're linked not through some formal organization, but by being descendants connected to a historical Robin.
Hmm.
It's a very personal and almost magical inheritance.
What's fascinating here is the notion of an inherited responsibility that comes with this connection.
Yeah.
They're not just inheriting a beautiful space, they're inheriting a duty to protect and nurture these vital pockets of nature.
Right.
It adds a significant layer of meaning to their actions, linking them to a longer history of environmental stewardship.
And the old magic in this story isn't about casting spells, but rather this deep, almost instinctive understanding of nature's delicate balance.
Right.
It's about recognizing subtle cues, understanding the interconnectedness of ecosystems,
Yeah.
which in its own way is a very real and powerful kind of magic.
Absolutely. It moves away from traditional fantasy tropes towards a more grounded ecological awareness.
Leah's intuition, Maya's keen observations, these aren't supernatural powers, but rather heightened senses and abilities developed through their close relationship with the natural world.
We see the garden's power demonstrated quite vividly when they bring the ailing sapling to a special clearing.
Okay.
Its rapid recovery there is almost miraculous,
Yeah.
really highlighting the unique restorative properties of these hidden sanctuaries.
It underscores the incredible potential of nature to heal and regenerate when provided with the right conditions and care.
Right.
The garden acts as a kind of catalyst or amplifier for these natural processes.
But the flash fiction story doesn't rely solely on this old magic.
Hmm.
Maya's methodical soil analysis reveals the presence of unnatural contamination,
Okay.
which then leads them to deduce that the nearby creek upstream is the source of the poisoning.
Right.
This is where their more analytical and investigative skills come into play.
This is a crucial element.
Yeah.
The garden provides them with an initial sensitivity to the problem and a deeper understanding of the ecosystem's health.
Right.
But actually solving the mystery requires logical reasoning and what the story aptly terms ordinary detective work. It's a really interesting blend of intuition and investigation.
And it's also interesting how their youth becomes an unexpected advantage.
Yeah.
The adults in their community seem to completely underestimate them,
Right.
never suspecting that these kids with a passion for plants are actually uncovering a serious environmental crime.
That element of being overlooked can be a surprisingly powerful tool. Adults may dismiss their concerns or not take them seriously, allowing these young environmentalists to operate somewhat under the radar and gather crucial information without arousing suspicion.
The flash fiction story beautifully portrays these gardens as both a safe haven, a place of healing and rejuvenation for endangered species, but also as a vital training ground where they hone their skills by reviving struggling plants and piecing together these environmental puzzles.
It highlights the dual purpose of these special places. They offer refuge and protection for vulnerable life, but also empower the young guardians with the knowledge and practical skills they need to take action in the wider world.
And the conclusion of Green Thumb Society is really quite lovely.
Yeah.
It emphasizes that their ongoing efforts are ultimately a fight for the delicate balance of the entire world.
Right.
They're portrayed as keepers of vital secrets. And the story ends with this really evocative image of their actions being a new kind of fairy tale written in the vibrant defiance of a newly blooming flower.
Yeah.
It leaves you with a real sense of hope.
It does. It powerfully conveys the idea that even in the face of significant environmental challenges, individual acts of care, fueled by passion and a deep connection to the natural world, can lead to meaningful and lasting positive change.
So as we bring our journey through these two compelling flash fiction stories,
Okay.
Young Hood and Green Thumb Society, to a close,
Okay.
what key insights do we gain by considering them together? You shared these stories with us, and it's clear you're interested in exploring the diverse ways young people are engaging with significant challenges, whether it's confronting corporate power or safeguarding our environment.
Absolutely. What's particularly striking in Young Hood is this potent fusion of tradition and innovation.
Yeah.
They're drawing upon ancestral skills like archery,
Right.
yet they're also incredibly adept at utilizing modern tactics and technology.
Right.
The core message that resonates is that legacy isn't simply about inheriting physical objects. It's about carrying forward a spirit of resistance and adapting it to the specific context of the present day. It prompts us to reflect. What are the ancestral forests in our own lives that we feel compelled to defend, and what are the contemporary arrows at our disposal?
That's a really thought-provoking question.
It is, isn't it?
And when we turn to Green Thumb Society, we encounter a different but equally powerful form of engagement, this deep and nurturing connection to the natural world. It serves as a vital reminder that even when facing massive global environmental issues, focused individual attention, care, and a profound understanding of local ecosystems can yield significant results.
Absolutely.
This flash fiction story encourages us to ask, what hidden secret gardens of knowledge or connection might we be overlooking in our own lives that could hold crucial keys to addressing the pressing problems we face?
Both of these journeys, while unfolding within the imaginative realms of flash fiction, speak directly to very real-world concerns about environmental stewardship, social justice, and the agency of young people.
Right.
They offer inspiring glimpses into how resourcefulness, courage, and a deep understanding of one's battlefield, whether it's a threatened forest steeped in history or a hidden network of life-sustaining gardens, can indeed lead to meaningful acts of defiance and ultimately positive and lasting change.
We truly hope this journey through the worlds of Young Hood and Green Thumb Society has sparked some new ideas for you.
I hope so too.
What aspects of these tales resonated most deeply? Are there other stories or perhaps even real-world examples that come to mind when you consider the power of young people to make a difference?
Yeah, that's a great question.
We definitely encourage you to continue exploring these important themes.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on the Teenage Mutant Fight Club podcast this week.
See you next week.
We'll be back with more wild tales soon.